Penguin Random House Audio presents Super Thinking, the Big Book of Mental Models by Gabriel Weinberg and Lauren McCann. Read for you by René Ruiz. Introduction. The Super Thinking Journey. Each morning, after our kids head off to school or camp, we take a walk and talk about our lives, our careers, and current events. We're married. Though we discuss a wide array of topics, we often find common threads, recurring concepts that help us explain, predict, or approach these seemingly disparate subjects. Examples range from more familiar concepts, such as opportunity cost and inertia, to more obscure ones, such as Goodhart's law and regulatory capture. We will explain these important ideas and many more in the chapters that follow. These recurring concepts are called mental models. Once you are familiar with them, you can use them to quickly create a mental picture of a situation, which becomes a model that you can later apply in similar situations. In spite of their usefulness, most of these concepts are not universally taught in school, even at the university level. We picked up some of them in our formal education. Both of us have undergraduate and graduate degrees from MIT. But the bulk of them we learned on our own, through reading, conversations, and experience. We wish we had learned about these ideas much earlier, because they not only help us better understand what is going on around us, but also make us more effective decision makers in all areas of our lives. While we can't go back in time and teach our younger selves these ideas, we can provide this guide for others and for our children. That was our primary motivation for writing this book. An example of a useful mental model from physics is the concept of critical mass, the mass of nuclear material needed to create a critical state whereby a nuclear chain reaction is possible. Critical mass was an essential mental model in the development of the atomic bomb. Every discipline, like physics, has its own set of mental models that people in the field learn through coursework, mentorship, and first-hand experience. There is a smaller set of mental models, however, that are useful in general day-to-day decision-making, problem-solving, and truth-seeking. These often originate in specific disciplines, physics, economics, etc., but have metaphorical value well beyond their originating discipline. Critical mass is one of these mental models with wider applicability. Ideas can attain critical mass. A party can reach critical mass. A product can achieve critical mass. Unlike hundreds of other concepts from physics, critical mass is broadly useful outside the context of physics. We explore critical mass in more detail in Chapter 4. We call these broadly useful mental models supermodels, because applying them regularly gives you a superpower, super thinking, the ability to think better about the world, which you can use to your advantage to make better decisions, both personally and professionally. We were introduced to the concept of supermodels many years ago through Charlie Munger, the partner of renowned investor Warren Buffett. As Munger explained in a 1994 speech at University of Southern California Marshall Business School, titled A Lesson on Elementary Worldly Wisdom as it Relates to Investment Management and Business. What is elementary worldly wisdom? Well, the first rule is that you can't really know anything if you just remember isolated facts and try and bang them back. If the facts don't hang together on a latticework of theory, you don't have them in a usable form. You've got to have models in your head, and you've got to array your experience, both vicarious and direct, on this latticework of models. As the saying goes, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. If you can identify a mental model that applies to the situation in front of you, then you immediately know a lot about it. For example, suppose you were thinking about a company that involves people renting out their expensive power tools, which usually sit dormant in their garages. If you realize that the concept of critical mass applies to this business, then you know that there is some threshold that needs to be reached before it could.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?